Memphis Grizzlies have won 10 games in a row, and their wins are starting to become routine. Ja Morant is dunking on someone's head, the Grizzlies are showing off their great depth, and they're having fun blowing out teams. Take the Grizzlies' recent win against the Suns. Ja Morant sat along the sideline after another acrobatic finish, swinging his shoulders and arms while telling the cameras in rhythm, "He can't guard me." It was over by then. The Memphis Grizzlies unleashed another third quarter barrage as they beat the Suns 136-106. The Memphis Grizzlies are now one win shy of tying their franchise record for most wins in a row, set just last season. And every game during the streak so far has seen the Grizzlies score more than 115 points. It's the first time an NBA team has won 10 consecutive games scoring that many points since the 1984-85 Showtime Lakers, the 1959-60 Boston Celtics that featured Bob Cousy and Bill Russell, and the 1982-83 and 83-84 Denver Nuggets, as these are the teams that are the only teams to pull off such a feat. What's going on, everyone? It's Luca here, back with another video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the Memphis Grizzlies and how they've been dominating the NBA as of late. Hit a like on the video, guys. It does help it a ton. And please subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. And before we continue, I do want to say that about 96% of you are watching my videos but are not subscribed. So if you can kindly hit that subscribe button, that would do me a huge favor. And also make sure you turn on the post notifications so you never miss an upload. Now, the most common thing you'll hear about this Grizzlies team is that they can't beat the good teams. And I mean, when you look at the Grizzlies, they are just 4-4 against the other top 6 teams in the conference. The 10 wins in a row includes only 3 wins against teams with above 500 records. And one came against the depleted Indiana Pacers last Saturday night. A 5-game, 8-day West Coast trip starting Friday in Los Angeles should be more indicative of how much progress is being made by this current Grizzlies team. But the pieces are most definitely there. The players know it, Jenkins knows it, the whole league knows it at this point. That has never been the case in the 20 previous years of this Grizzlies team. They are the most talented they have ever been. Let's take a look at the Western Conference standings for a moment. This isn't the franchise's best start to a season, but when you look at the West, the Nuggets and Grizzlies are starting to pull away from the pack. They're at least 4.5 games ahead of everybody else in the West after Monday. Now, this Grizzlies team is truly going to be measured by how they perform in the playoffs. Being the first team in franchise history to win the Western Conference would be historic, and it would also shut a lot of people up. But when you look at the Grizzlies, you can't deny that they are legitimate contenders in the West. And the first and biggest reason why is Ja Morant. And this team's success is going to fall on Ja Morant being healthy. I mean, when you look at Ja Morant, he is just such a specimen. He is a freak of nature. When it comes to his leaping and dunking ability, nobody does it better than the Grizzlies' Ja Morant, period. He has been averaging 27.5 points per game, 5.7 rebounds, and 7.9 assists. His speed and agility and how he's able to maneuver in lanes is simply absurd. Even from just outside of the paint, he continues to be a nightmare to try to guard against. This team's success falls on this man's shoulders. And of course, Ja unfortunately couldn't play out last year's playoffs, but you gotta think a healthy Ja Morant-led Grizzlies team this time around will be tough to stop in a 7-game series, especially if the Grizzlies are able to have home court advantage throughout. And when you look at this Grizzlies team at home, they are a different beast. Another reason why this team is legit, Jaren Jackson Jr. leading the defensive charge. It's hard to take your eyes off of Ja Morant when he's doing this thing out there, but if you aren't already paying attention to Jaren Jackson Jr., now is your time to start. Jaren Jackson Jr. has been an absolute beast when it comes to blocking shots. He had 6 blocks against the Suns. And Jaren Jackson Jr. over his last 14 games has been a blocking machine. You got to account for this guy whenever he's playing defense. Before the 23-year-old was introduced to the starting lineup, there were concerns over the Grizzlies' slow defensive issues. The Grizzlies were 18th when it came to defensive efficiency. Fast forward 2 months, and they now rank first, possessing a strong pair of defenders in Jaren Jackson Jr. and Dillon Brooks. So now in the Grizzlies, you got one of the league's best offenses and defenses to watch. And the Grizzlies in January have been especially good. They're first in net rating, first in defensive rating, 5th in offensive rating, 2nd in points per game, 1st in rebounds per game, 2nd in blocks per game, 4th in field goal percentage, and 4th in 3-point percentage. And of course, the most important stat they have yet to lose a game in the month. And then you got to talk about this impressive roster depth as to why the Grizzlies are indeed legit. Every season, a team is on a hot, active winning streak, and then one of their star players gets sidelined with injury, effectively derailing that team's success and their playoff ambitions. That is what happens when you have a regimented starting five with no depth to the roster whatsoever to fill in those gaps. The Grizzlies do not have that problem. They have incredible depth to fall back on, and the teams with the most depth usually find themselves among title contenders, and that's exactly where the Grizzlies are right now. The Memphis Grizzlies might in fact be ready to take that jump to the NBA Finals, and Stephen A. Smith recently spoke about this.
Who do you got in the finals?
The start of the season, I had y'all, the Golden State Warriors versus the Brooklyn Nets. I think the Memphis Grizzlies deserve the nod over y'all right now.
You think Memphis is ready? You think Memphis is ready to take that jump to the NBA Finals?
Are you ready for this?
Absolutely.
I think Memphis is ready, and I think it's your fault.
Why is it my fault?
Because, you whooping it up with the crowd in Memphis, you get them going. You understand what I'm saying? You got that going. Ja's your boy, but you like talking to him. Y'all like talking back and forth because they like talking.
Absolutely.
This brother, Ja Morant, if he's healthy and he's going against y'all and they got home court advantage and you got a game 7 in Memphis, Ray, that's a tall task.
When you look at this Grizzlies team, they can beat you in so many different ways, and I'm hoping they can stay healthy throughout, but even if they were to sustain an injury, knock on wood, this team has shown that they can sustain it. So the Memphis Grizzlies, they don't have too many flaws right now. This is a team that does have a great deal amount of talent, depth. They got the star power with Ja Morant. They got the great role players, the defensive capabilities. The Memphis Grizzlies are going to be a tough team to stop once the playoffs start. And I'm not going to lie, I did underestimate this Grizzlies team going into the season, and now I'm eating my words. I thought this Grizzlies team was just a flash in the pan, but they've been able to replicate their success this season and then some. If this team can start to show consistency when it comes to beating the good teams, they're going to be dangerous in the West. And right now, the Western Conference is wide open, so it might come down to who gets hot at the right time and, more importantly, who's healthy at the right time. And right now, the Grizzlies definitely have the pieces in place to make a deep run if they can indeed stay healthy. But what do you think? Do you think this Grizzlies team is legitimate, or do you think they're frauds? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I read all of them, and I would love to hear what you have to think about this Grizzlies team. But right now, you can't take away from what the Grizzlies have been doing. They've won 10 games in a row, and I don't care who you play. Anytime you string together 10 games in a row and you make it look easy, that's worth talking about. So that is why today's video was dedicated to the Memphis Grizzlies, and I will continue to watch this team to see if they can extend that winning streak. They will be taking on tougher opponents from here on out, so we'll see how they respond. But that's it for me, everyone. Let me know your thoughts again down below. Hit a like on this video. It helps it a ton, and please subscribe to the channel for more NBA content just like this. This is Lucas signing off, and I'll catch you all again in the next video.